today's news, the FDA has issued 3 warning letters against certain members of the CBD and cannabis industry for basically issuing statements of treatment that these products can treat the certain conditions. They might be able to cure certain conditions, and that CBD has basically had some sort of scientific evidence or research to back up their claims. And so the FDA has issued 3 warning letters reflecting concerns about the statements that they're making, mostly on their websites. And I think this is the first time we've really seen the FDA wade into that crackdown, right, on CBD?
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of concern, like, because the news line was FDA cracks down on CBD businesses, and which isn't the best news to hear, but if you actually look into the facts and details of what was happening, the types of businesses they were targeting, and there were only 3 of them, CBD right now is in a pretty gray area, unfortunately, as we're waiting for rules and regulations to be drafted at multiple levels of government. And there are a lot of CBD businesses right now that have products out there on the market, and these were some of the examples, maybe some of the claims being made, being a little too far for comfort level as we're in this transition period. Mm-hmm. So, it's not a good thing. We'd like to see more information about the best way to operate a business in that market. But when you look at the type of cease and desist letter that went out, I'm not super concerned about its impact on the CBD industry as a whole.
I would agree with that. I think it's also important to note that when you are marketing something as a food item or a supplement, you have to be cognizant that these things are going to be regulated by the FDA if it's something that is meant to be ingested. So if you have something like nutrition facts on your packaging, that's a red flag to them that is meant to be ingested, right?
Exactly.
That's something that we need to be aware of when we're marketing our products.
Right, and it actually is going to speak pretty directly to our main topic today, which is, if you're saying something and you're putting yourself out there, it's going to have potentially some implications. Mm-hmm. So
I would 100% agree with that. I also think that it speaks volumes that it was, they pulled a lot of quotes from their website. So even if you've been licensed and you're meeting your actual inspections with the state or municipality, what you write on your websites is of the utmost importance as well.
Right, and we've seen that kind of be a discussion topic in some board meetings, over the last few months as well. So, we'll definitely keep an eye on the situation, and if that, we hear more action from the FDA, I'm certain we'll be talking about it again.
Another issue that we have on the federal level is the Safe Banking Act. The Safe Banking Act, as we discussed last week, has passed out of committee and is now pending a vote on the House floor. Right now, we haven't seen much movement on the House floor, but we are anticipating that will go up for a vote in the relatively near future, and we're expecting it to pass on the House level, correct?
Yeah, so it's not going to go very quickly, but it's still doing what it needs to do. It passed through committee. It's now eligible for the House floor. Some of the experts that I've been following, to follow that news article, are predicting that it's reasonable to see maybe that bill see more action again sometime towards the end of the summer session. So hopefully sooner than that, but we'll certainly be following it, and so far so good on that bill. So.
Yes. And a little bit closer to home, we do have temporary restraining orders issued by the Michigan Court of Claims against the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs for trying to enforce their shutdown day for temporary operators. As we know, temporary operators have been an ongoing concern and maybe a thorn in the department's side for the last couple of months as they've been trying to shut down temporary operators and move into fully licensed facilities only. However, there have been concerns about meeting the patient's needs and making sure that there's enough supply to meet that demand. So right now, we are seeing a TRO that has been entered, and there is a hearing date set for April 9th so that we can kind of get more information from the court as to whether or not that shutdown will be enforced.
Right, so more on that next week, I'm sure.
Yes.
Anything else this week?
I think that's it for the news today. Thank you.